So what are we going to have to do? I want to give you the simple formula. Well, I've said to you first of all that we have to be surrounded by important role models. That involves parents, but of course it then, like Miss Sketch, has to be teachers too. But what do we mean by that role model? Well, it's got to be an advert for reading. It's got to ooze out of every pore. And when I did this, like Miss Sketch, you can see it's oozing out of every pore. You can't kid children. It's got to be real. And they need to look at those adults and think, that looks lovely. I think I want to feel like that. Now, what that means is that children need to see you reading, or they need to have a sense that you do read. And I had a wonderful teacher when I was the head teacher in my school, Anne. Oh, I adored her. She was fantastic. Do you know what she did every day? Lovely. She read the Daily Mail for 5 minutes. And she would say to the children, "Children, can I please read the Daily Mail?" "Yes, Mrs. Wong, you can." And then they would go and collect an old Daily Mail. She had a big pile, and they would sit like she would. And imagine this is the Daily Mail. She used to open it, and they would copy her. And then at the end of that 5 minutes, she would then tell the children one little bit of news from the newspaper. And I'll never forget little Bradley. I came past the classroom and Mrs. Wong said, "Quickly, Mr. Griffith, come in. Bradley wants to tell you something." And I said, "What, Bradley?" "Mrs. Wong has just told us something about the news." I said, "What?" "It was about Ireland, in Northern Ireland." I said, "What did she tell you?" And he couldn't say Protestants, love him. He said, "The producers and the Catholics have not been getting on, but we've just said a prayer to hope they do." Isn't that lovely? And do you know what? Mrs. Wong is now 78, obviously retired, although running a youth club still. But I now meet grown-up children from her classes, and the first thing they all say to me is, "Does Mrs. Wong still read the Daily Mail?" And if I tell you that because she had to go into big lock time to the end of August, I was delivering her Daily Mail to make sure she still got it. So powerful. But a lot of people think, "Oh, should I sit there reading War and Peace?" No. Well, yeah, you can if you love War and Peace, but whatever you're reading, look delicious. Make it tempting. And what you read is not the point. It's the way you read. And I don't mind what you read. I really don't. And if the Heat magazine floats your boat, then I don't mind, because I actually love the Heat magazine. I know none of it's true. Who cares? And I do get it every week, and do not do a face, because I love it. And let me just tempt you into... Oh yes, look at her. I don't know why they're still together. I mean, I'm not going to say who, but why are they together? Look at her. She never smiles. And I'm not going to tell you any more. Get your own Heat magazine. So I don't mind, but look delicious. I don't mind if it's the Trout and Salmon Monthly. If Trout and Salmon does it for you, then get it. And I don't. It's not for me. But there was a man I met in Bristol. He said, "I get it every month." And once he said, "I was a cover boy." His photo was on the front with a whopper. He was. So I don't mind. Or if it's your chicken. Why, no, just the title tempts me in. Your chicken. So if that's what you love it. We've even got, I don't believe this, but the Turkey Monthly. The Turkey Monthly. Now, don't knock it, because some people love it. Here's one. Oh, I know this sounds sexist, but it's true. Ladies, the Storage and Organiser. What more could you want? And this is one of my favourites. Earth Mover. No, I love earth movers. I've loved diggers all my life. And that's the Terex 860 backhoe loader on the front cover. What could you want more? So what am I saying? I'm saying it doesn't matter what you love, just love it. And you'd be surprised, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to show children that there's such a wide selection of things to read. Tempt them You know, really tempt them and make them realise that reading is reading. I mean, I'll give you a little challenge. What do you think I might be reading at the moment? Am I reading How to Knit Wrist Warmers? Am I reading How to Keep Chickens and Poultry on Scraps? Am I reading The Scaffolder's Guide to Scaffolding and Safety Checks? Or am I reading How to Land a Plane? I'll leave you to wonder and I'll tell you the answer at the end. So, number 1, be seen reading. That's the most important. Number 2, you've then got to show your love but start to draw them in and ensure that children are presented with as wide a range of reading material as you possibly can. Now, please don't think that every child has to learn entirely through fiction stories, because what you'll discover is that many children love non-fiction. I met a lovely little boy in Waterstone's bookshop recently. There he was. And he's got this fantastic pop-up book on the Titanic. Now, I was dying to say, but you can't these days, can you? But do you know what his mum said? She said, put it back because you're just going to read it, you silly boy. Well, what does he normally do with the book? Batter people to death? He just wanted his little pop-up book about... Now, a lot of parents, and I know they're trying to do good, but we discover they're often putting them off instead. Because when children go to choose books, maybe in the library, maybe in a bookshop if you can afford them, but parents will go with them and they tell a lie to their children. They say, oh, go on, yes, you can choose yourself a book, go on. That's a lie. They're not choosing it themselves. Because what happens is this. The child goes towards the book. No, not that one. No, what have I told you? No, stop, don't look at me with that face or you're not going to have one. Now get that one down. No, why do you keep getting baby books for baby boys? Now get a harder one at this end. No, that's too hard. Don't be so stupid you can't read it. No, we're not having that. I know Winnie Wagtail is your favourite, but no, I'm sick of it. No, look at me. You're having that one. No, I hear this all the time. The child hasn't chosen it at all. The parents told them which one they're having, and then they wonder why their face is like this. So would mine be. Now, can I tell you what sometimes happens? Children do choose books that are easier than perhaps their reading level is. Now, there's a reason. Because they know they can read that with total confidence, and they're not worried that they're going to be straining on every word. It's a lovely flowing read. And they also often choose books that are too hard, but you don't say, no, that's too hard. That's going to knock their confidence. What you say is, we'll do that together. How lovely. And you'll actually work with them and support them as they read it. Now, when they choose one that they've chosen 43 times, like my Wind in the Willows, this is what you do. Here's your face, grown-ups. Now, I know you're thinking, you don't show it. Because if your child doesn't have favourites, they're not developing a love of reading. Those are the hooks that you hang on to. And you think, do you remember Wind? It's really crucial that children have favourite stories. And they often love it because they can read it from memory. And that's okay, because it's building that love that is so important. So please give your children some control over the books they read. Let them choose some. Of course you can suggest books. Of course you can edge in ones that you hope they might read. And don't forget, again, that message. Reading is reading is reading. So don't always think it's got to be fiction. If they're reading the back of the cereal packet, fantastic. If they're reading things in the cars you go by, McDonald's. I don't mind what they're exposed to, but just encourage them to read what really fires them up. So you've got to choose something that you know is going to light the reading fire. Really important. Okay, So we've said number 1, be a role model yourself. We've said number 2, help your child choose things that they love to read to light their fire. And then comes number 3. And if any child's going to love reading, they've got to have been exposed to adults sharing books and reading aloud to them. I could spend the next 2 hours listing all the things that reading aloud does for a child, if they're done well. However, things sometimes go wrong, as you're about to see.